What is up, you beautiful people? Welcome back to Spoiling Movies. My name's Christopher McQuack, and I'm going to tell you all about a good old Irish movie that I found and watched recently, and I'm going to tell you all about it. Pre-spoiler opinion, pretty darn good movie. Really enjoyed it. I like myself a nice mafia gangster type movie, and this one did not disappoint. Just a fun watch. Grab yourselves a pint of Guinness, because I'm going to spoil the fuck out of it for you. Cleveland, 1975. This man, Danny Green, he's driving along. He's got himself a fantastic mustache. The radio starts to fuck up on him. So he opens the door and jumps out to the car, and the car explodes. He's right next to it, by the way. Survives. He's doing fine. Apparently it wasn't that much of a big car explosion. They show Danny when he's growing up, being bullied by the Sicilian children in the neighborhood. Val Kilmer is giving exposition about his life when he was growing up. I suppose Val Kilmer sort of knew him when he was a child. They may or may not have been friends. So now Danny's a bit more grown up, working in some sort of sawdust mill, basically shoveling sawdust into a conveyor belt of some kind. One of the men he's working with passes out from the heat. They go out. The guy in charge, the president of their union, says, "Get back to work. Doesn't matter if you're passing out." They say if it gets up above 90 degrees, they can't work in there anymore. And he says, "Get back to work, you filthy fucks." The president of the union doesn't give a shite about them. Danny meets a girl in a bar, starts flirting with her a bit. They go out back of the alley and bang in his car, of course. One of his friends knocks on the window while he's doing his thing. Says, "I got some trouble." So he quits what he's doing, goes and tries to help his friend out, goes into this place where there's a bunch of gangsters. The gangster says, "Your friend owes a lot of money. What are you going to do about it?" Danny walks out, tells his friend, you can't gamble anymore. I took care of this for you. And the way he took care of it was that he will now be working for them. So Danny starts working with the mafia, telling them where to get things out of these crates, these shipping containers. Danny goes straight up to the president of the union and says, "I'm going to take your job. You're bad. You're an asshole. You're a fucking arsehole. I'm going to be president. You're out of here." And he says, "You can't do that. You're a fucking asshole. Get the fuck out." The president says if Danny doesn't give him a cut of the mafia money, he's going to beat his arse or possibly kill him. Danny comes back later, slaps the shit out of the president guy, becomes the new president. Danny and the girlfriend that he was banging behind the bar, they go and they get married. I'm sorry, he was banging behind the pub. They get married, they have themselves some children. The newspaper gets wind of the misdoings that Danny and the mafia are up to. So because of the corruption, Danny gets arrested. The cops tell him he's got to become an informant and rat out all of his mafia buddies. So he does. They let him out. Christopher Walken gives him a job as a strong-arm man. He's got people that have casino gambling debts. And now Danny is working for Christopher Walken, beating the arses of those fuckers that aren't paying up. Apparently the garbage business is not in the union. They've got their own little companies and whatnot. One of them is Danny's friend, but his friend refuses to join the union. So Christopher Walken tells him if you don't get the garbage guy to pay up, there's going to be problems. So they kill two birds with one stone. They get his gambling friend, who is still gambling and not paying the people. Danny and his boys tell him to go put a car bomb underneath the car of the garbage man. Danny and his boys blow up the bomb while he's putting it under the car. So that sends a message to the garbage man, but also they take out Danny's friend that wasn't paying his money. His friend, the garbage man, comes to him another day when he's out in the park doing exercises, tries to run him down with the car, pulls out the gun, starts shooting at him, but Danny shoots him first, shoots him right in the head. While Kilmer's interrogating people about it, Danny tells Kilmer, "You quit putting your nose in my business." His wife ends up leaving him, takes the kids, they're out of here. They can't deal with his nonsense anymore. Danny has a soft spot for one of the women in the neighborhood, some old Irish woman. So as the repo company's trying to take her furniture, take her house and whatnot, he stops them, he pays off their debts, says, "Get the fuck out of here." The old woman thinks it's a nice gesture. She brings Danny in, gives him a story about, "I can tell you've got the Celtic warrior in you. We're drunks, but we're fighters." She gives him a little trinket, a little necklace thing to take with him. So Danny starts doing sort of a Robin Hood thing. Him and his buddies are handing out turkeys. They even go down to the local police precinct and they're giving out turkeys for Thanksgiving and Christmas and stuff. One of the people that owes Christopher Walken money ends up going to jail, and he doesn't get his money, and he blames Danny for it. He says, "Danny, you're on the hook for this shite." And he says, "I wasn't even a part of it. What do you mean?" He says, "Well, if you don't give me the money, then it's on your fucking head." Walken puts out a hit on him, 25,000 for whoever kills the Irishman. Then they go back to where we were at the very beginning of the movie when the car explodes and he's right next to it and he survives. Vincent D'Onofrio comes by, picks him up in his car, takes him out to a place. Some new girl is digging Danny's potatoes, brings him into her house. They have a bit of a conversation, a little chat. She walks away, she comes back. Tits are flapping out in the wind. They go and bang. That's his new girl. They put another car bomb inside Christopher Walken's car, but it's right near a church. There's an old woman walking out from the church. Danny gets out of his car, helps the old lady walk across the street so she doesn't get caught up in the explosion. But Christopher Walken gets to the car, looks over, sees him. Kaboom! They fucking take him out like that. Christopher ain't walking no more, is he? Some of these mafia folks are talking to Danny, trying to say, we'll take 30% of your shit. If you don't give us 30%, then you're fucked. And he says, I'm not giving you 30%. We're doing all the fucking work out here, you greasy fucks. The mafia people throw some bunch of sticks of dynamite in Danny's house. Him and his girlfriend are in there. It blows up. The house kind of falls down on them. Somehow they survive. It seems like miraculous. Danny's got the skin of the fucking Irish. Thick fucking skin. He survives all kinds of bombs. He's standing right next to him a lot of the time. Danny pulls a Tony Stark Iron Man 3 style. Gets on the news. Tells the people exactly where he lives. If you want me, come and get me, you fuckers. Vincent D'Onofrio decides he wants to work with Danny very closely. He wants to be part of his crew. So he opens up the trunk of his car. He's got a person in there, one of the people that didn't pay up. D'Onofrio stabs him several times in the stomach to show his loyalty. Then there's a rock and roll montage of just lots and lots of car bombs. Like just a ton of car bombs going off, taking out everyone all over town. There's even some building bombs and some mailbox bombs. Danny has a meeting with some of the mafia guys, and on his way out, they're talking shite. They call him a Mick cocksucker and a Mick prick as he's leaving. One of the higher-ups in the mafia tells his men they gotta take out Danny. Take him out, like, immediately. Danny meets back up with the mafia bastards. Tells them, you give me $2 million, I will disappear. I'll go move on to a farm, and everything that I make from my farm legitimately, I'll send 30% back to you. That's all it'll take. $2 million, I'll be gone, out of your hair, and you'll still get something from me. Vincent D'Onofrio goes with Danny out to some parking lot, and he's like, everything's going great for us. Everything's good. Good for us. Everything's great. But the music they're playing definitely informs me that he's about to die. Guess what happens? As Danny's walking away, we hear an explosion from D'Onofrio's car. He dies in a car bomb. I called that shite immediately. I knew it was going to happen. You told me from the fucking music. Danny sees that some new assassin is trying to take him out, chases him back to his van, sits at his window with a gun just carefully placed at him, and he's like, who are you? What the fuck's going on here? And the guy just drives off, and he's like, why didn't he just fucking shoot him? Another guy that I'm pretty sure was in the movie Snatch, and he's been working with Danny. The new assassin guy takes him out with a shotgun, takes out some other people in Danny's crew with explosions and whatnot. Danny talks to Val Kilmer, because they're still friends apparently, having a couple of beers. And he says, this new assassin guy, he's someone important. He's one of these assassins you never want to have on your ass, because he's the fucking best. Danny goes to visit a dentist about his bad tooth. He looks out the window of the dentist's office. He sees that someone's coming in there to kill him. It's October 6, 1977. As Danny's walking out, there's a little group of little bastard kids. They walk up to him, they say, hey, aren't you that guy? You're Danny. You're Danny Green. I would love to be like you when I grow up. And he says, you don't want to be like me, kid. He gives his little trinket necklace to one of the children. Then he starts getting into his car, turns it on, car bomb explosion, Danny is no more. Saw it coming, it was very, very obvious. They tell some of the backstory of how everything was tied together, and because he died and all these other people died, that's how they found out that they were all tied together with the mafia, Christopher Walken, the mafia, the union, everything was tied together, all these people, it all makes sense. A bunch of the criminals get arrested, and they show a bit of the real footage of the real man talking to one of the reporters. He squats back to him and he says, well, this is just how things fucking are. Because it's based on a true story. And that's the end of the fucking movie. It's pretty damn good. I wish they hadn't ruined a bit of it. With some of their choices of the music, I could tell what was about to happen. There's a ton of great actors in this. There's Vincent D'Onofrio, there's Christopher Walken, even Danny, the main guy. I can't even remember what his name is. There's like 5 other great actors I can't think what their names are. There's a bunch of really great Irish music, and I'm a big fan of gangster movies, and this is a pretty good one. Danny doesn't even have an Irish accent. There's a couple other characters in here that do, but he doesn't. Val Kilmer was a little underutilized, but that's alright. I'm not a huge fan of his anyway. There were moments where it was a bit Wolf of Wall Street-ish. Like a guy who's involved in criminal behaviors, rising up through the ranks and becoming very, very wealthy and well-known with everybody. I hope you all enjoyed watching. I had a great time watching this. I had a great time talking about it with you. Please leave a comment, let me know how you're feeling, how you're thinking. I just love reading what you guys have to say. If you've got any problems with my terrible Irish accent, you take it up with my friend Cyber Houdini. I want to hear it from him first. You send him back here. You tell him to watch the fucking video. So you send the word out to my friend Cyber Houdini. If he's got a problem with the way that I fucking portray an Irishman I owe him an apology. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Cheers. Drink responsibly. Be safe. Have fun. Drink up, laddies. And that's how we do that. And he's good at it. He's quite the fucking fister. He's quite the fucking fistercupper. My name's Christopher Fisticuper. Christopher McFisticuper. The lady says the lady thinks it. You see his fucking names on the glass. Christopher McWhacken right here. Happy St. Paddy's.